Welcome back at Practical Philosophy for this series about the wonders of capitalism. Last time we saw the market equilibrium and how prices regulate demand and supply. Today you shall see that capitalism can do much more. Be amazed by wonder number 2, the perfect distribution. In an economy, there are two things to distribute, which are resources and products. Let's begin with resources such as land and timber. Now, speaking about distribution, wouldn't it be nice if the resources always go where they can create the highest value? Take timber for example. We could use it for firewood or to create nice musical instruments with it. For every resource, there's a best way of using it, and capitalism encourages such a distribution, as I will show in a minute. Just a little side note before. In case you ever meet an economist, she will probably call it allocation of resources instead of distribution. Products get distributed and resources allocated. That is the same thing with bread and cheese. If fungus spreads on bread, it's rotten. If cheese is full of fungus, it's aging. Anyway, enough of this. Language philosophy is not practical philosophy. Back to the issue. Let's say this piece of land here is for sale. Then Frank comes by and immediately thinks about buying the land and earn money with it. As he's not that creative, he would just raise some cattle on the grassland. Nevertheless, he estimates to earn $70,000 in a year, and that sounds pretty good unless you compare it to Josie's plans. She figured out that the slope of the hill, the soil and the weather are perfectly suited for growing grapes and then making high quality wine out of them. And this wine is going to be expensive, so she will earn $150,000 in a year. Now, who will get the resource? Both $70,000 and $150,000 would be enough to make a good living. Yet, Frank and Josie would first have to buy the land and therefore get a loan. Though they go to a bank which naturally isn't interested in neither cows nor wine but money. In fact, they charge so heavily that after getting the loan, they would have to pay back $50,000 per year. This is unfortunate for Frank, who would have only left $20,000 every year, not enough for him to get him out of his bed every day at 5 a.m. to milk cows. Josie, on the other hand, could still keep $100,000, so she will make the deal and get the land. This way, in capitalism, resources tend to be used in the most productive way possible, as more valuable products attract higher investments in the first place. Josie can always outbid Frank because she is expected to earn more with wine. Speaking about wine bottles, what happens to them? How do products get distributed? Let's say there are two potential customer groups. First, there are those who focus on the essentials to get drunk. Second, there are those crazy gourmet which pretend to care more about the process, the flavor of the wine and the ambience. Clearly, those gourmets would be a far better fit to Josie's high-quality wine. Homer Simpson, in turn, is easily satisfied with low-quality American beer, so Josie's wine would be wasted at those customers. Luckily, capitalism arranges it exactly that way. Those at the top are willing to pay a higher price for the wine, so they will outbid Homer. The price will adjust and scare everyone off who would buy the wine just to get drunk. Thus, the product goes where it's most wanted. And wonderful as it is, such things happen everywhere in capitalism. Products usually get distributed according to people's preferences. Exceptions are just very poor people that can't even afford food despite having a deadly high preference for it. And of course the opposite, super rich people that already have many more cars than necessary but keep on buying just because they have the financial means. However, given a more or less equal distribution, preferences will decide who gets what. This is great and shouldn't be taken for granted. Imagine once more a socialist planner. First of all, the planning agency may not agree to Josie's wine production. Her idea was somehow creative, so it's unlikely that the plan covers it. But for the sake of the argument, let's assume that she is allowed to grow the wine. Who would get the wine then? Maybe the central planner would like to give it to the person who wants it most. But how shall the planning agency find that out without a price mechanism? They could of course create a questionnaire, but this is not reliable. Homer would of course pretend to deeply enjoy the wine as long as he doesn't have to pay a coin. So in the end, the good stuff may indeed end up right here. Yet with capitalism and proper price mechanisms, it really hurts to misstate preferences. Thus, such a bad distribution can be avoided. And as with the market equilibrium, this wonderful distribution comes without any efforts. The system just does it for free. With this magic, resources are used to make valuable products. Then, those products go to those who want them the most. And that is the second wonder of capitalism. More wonders will follow soon. To ensure getting them, you can simply subscribe to Practical Philosophy. See you for the next one, and until then, have a good time. Goodbye.